Guys, it's kind of unbelievable. The iPhone X came out 3 years ago and retailed for almost $1,500. And now we're easily able to find this phone for less than $500. That's a huge price drop. Now with the price tag of $500, but 3 years later, is the iPhone X still worth it in 2020? Let's find out. Now, I've been using the iPhone X as my primary phone ever since it came out back in 2017. And let me tell you, there are a lot of good reasons why I'm still happy using this phone in 2020. Now in this video, we'll do a quick overview of the quality, the screen size, durability, design, and pretty much everything you need to know about this phone. And then we'll dig into the hardware side of things, talking about the wireless charging, camera, battery life, and lastly and most importantly, we'll talk about the software and the performance. And we'll also compare how this phone stacks up to the latest smartphones of 2020. And I really hope by the end of this video, you'll be able to decide if the iPhone X is worth your time and money in 2020. Now, I've been using this phone for 3 years, so it's nowhere brand new, but if you're interested in buying one, I'll quickly show you what to expect in the box since I still have all my box and the paperwork and everything. Moving forward, let's talk about the design and the durability. The iPhone X was the first revolutionary phone to have a bezel-less display. This phone features a 5.8-inch OLED panel and has a screen-to-body ratio of 82.9%. I remember this notch being a big issue when this phone came out, but let me tell you, once you use the phone for even a week, you get used to that really fast and it doesn't bother or distract you at all. Now, since we got rid of the bezels on this phone, we also got rid of the home button, and with the home button, we got rid of Fingerprint Scanner on the iPhone, which you might recall has the Touch ID, but the Touch ID was replaced with Face ID. And in my opinion, the Face ID actually does a really good job. It works pretty seamlessly and I love the convenience factor of just picking up my phone and it's unlocked and ready to use. Even the first generation Face ID in this phone does a fantastic job. It works good in low light, it works good in sunlight, it works pretty much every time. And it gives you a lot of other features, has Apple Pay, autofill passwords, and much more. One of my favorite features with Face ID is having the ability to have your messages locked so no one can read your text or messages until Face ID actually unlocks your phone. I think that's a huge plus for privacy and I cannot think of going back. But besides the Face ID, we have all the other features like 3D touch, True Tone display, and a lot of other things to fill out the spec sheets. But I'll personally cover things that I personally use and I personally find helpful in my daily life, rather than just talking about random specs to fill out the sheet. And talk about things that do matter, another thing will be the 7 megapixel front-facing camera. I think the camera works great. It's not the best in low light, and as you know, front-facing cameras aren't really the sharpest or the best looking ones, but it actually does a really decent job. And especially if you're upgrading from an older iPhone, you'll really appreciate the picture quality from this thing. And of course, we also have Animoji and all these other little cool features that I don't personally really use, so I'm not gonna bother talking about them too much. And talking about the body itself in general, we have a full metal body. I'm not sure what kind of metal, but it has held up pretty well in my 3 years of use. When I just got this phone brand new, it had like a polished glossy finish which kind of just faded away over time, but I'm happy there aren't really a lot of scuffs or small scratches that just make the phone look bad. So with the way the size and the body is right now, I can easily buffer it out and the phone will pretty much look brand new. For the back, we have a full glass body which also introduced wireless charging. Now, wireless charging is one of those features I really personally don't use because I find it a little slow and it kind of overheats the phone, so I avoid wireless charging and just plugging it in barely takes another second and I'm able to quick charge my phone, which works incredibly well. But talking about the back glass in general, for me personally, it didn't hold up so well. I had my glass shattered almost 2 years ago and I have no idea how. The phone was never dropped. I mostly keep my phone in a case, so if it even drops, it shouldn't damage the glass this badly. And as you can see, the frame itself has no damage at all, so I'm not sure exactly how my glass started to crack. But one day randomly, I just removed my case to clean my phone, which I randomly do every once in a while, and I noticed a really small crack on my phone. I really couldn't do a lot about it, so I just cleaned my phone, put the case back on, and a few months later I noticed a few more cracks popping up from the same point. And 2 years later, this is how the phone looks. And while talking about repairs and replacement, that isn't cheap at all. I can just go ahead and buy a new iPhone for the same price I would be paying to repair this glass. So in my opinion, it isn't really worth it. And yes, since I already have the glass, I can try to scrape out the old one and replace it with the new one, but that way I will be removing the IP67 water resistance. So I guess this is just the way I'll be keeping it. But moving forward, we have two 12 megapixel cameras. One's a normal lens and the other one is a telephoto lens. We're also able to shoot really good and high quality 4K videos using this phone, which I personally really like. I know the iPhone 11s and the Pros look a little bit better, but if you honestly don't have anything to compare with, this image actually looks really nice. But yeah, besides that, because of the telephoto lens, we have 2x optical zoom and a 10x digital zoom. Besides that, a lot of other cool features like portrait mode, portrait lighting, a true tone flash, panorama pictures up to 63 megabytes, IR filters, noise reductions, burst mode, timer mode, and all of those crazy things. But overall, talking about the pictures and the video quality coming out of this phone, I think it does a really good job. The colors, contrast, everything is on point. And honestly, if you're just using your camera to upload pictures on Instagram, Snapchat, or you're actually shooting your pictures from Instagram or Snapchat, they're gonna decompress your pictures. So the iPhone X or the iPhone 11 Pro won't really make a big difference after that heavy compression. Now, I pinpointed the Ip67 rating a bit ago, and for me personally, it served me pretty well. I've been using this phone in the rain, in the shower, or in just high humidity environments, and I haven't had any issues at all. Now, my model right here is a 64 gigabytes, but you're also able to get the 256 gig model. This thing is running on Apple A11 Bionic chip with a 64-bit processor and a M11 Motion coprocessor. And now with that design and hardware things out of the way, let's talk about the performance and the software itself. Now for me personally, the iPhone X is still running buttery smooth. I'm the type of person who's always on their phone, running through emails, doing this or that, and I haven't faced any lags or any glitches on this phone ever since I bought it. The performance is just amazing, and this is the reason why I never really felt the need to upgrade. Apps load instantly, doing web browsing, going through your emails, social media, all of those things, it's able to get through them without any problems. Now, even though I'm not really a gamer, but for this video I downloaded a few high quality games and they work perfectly fine. I didn't really face any bugs, glitches, overheating, or even frame drops of any kind. So for me, that tells me this phone is running solid even after 3 years of me beating it up. The only time I faced some problems on this phone was when I just upgraded to the brand new version of iOS 13. That was the only time where I had some performance issues where some of the apps were glitching and they would sometimes crash, but that was completely because iOS 13 was brand new, and very soon with another software update, all of those issues were fixed. And besides that, I haven't really heard anything bad about this phone. I did have one of my friends who had his back camera stopped working after a year and a half, and he had to get that replaced out of warranty for about $150. But other than that, I had nothing negative about the iPhone X come to me. Now, another plus point of the iPhone X or Apple in general is the ability to get software updates, so you're pretty much able to run the latest iOS version, whether it's iOS 13, 14, or whatever new version comes out, on your older devices. And I love this ability to get the same softwares and pretty much the same features on your previous devices for almost fraction of the price. And now lastly, talking about the battery life, it's kind of expected the battery would drain after 3 years of me beating up the phone, but I'm still able to get 4 to 5 hours of on-screen time and kind of able to push it throughout the day if I'm constantly not on my phone. And yeah guys, that's my personal experience with the iPhone X in 2020. Let me know what you think about this phone. Are you still considering to buy one? Why or why not? Let me know in a comment down below, and subscribe to Royal Tech for more videos just like these. And as always, thanks for watching.